Hello, and welcome to Read Around the World, a podcast where we travel and see world events through the lens of literature. I'm your host, Hillary Ogg, and today we're taking a little detour to talk about books with no pictures. A favorite illustrator's work is instantly recognizable. The imaginations and worlds of Dr. Seuss and Stephen Kellogg jump off of a book cover before we even see the words of the title or the author. The unique style of Tommy DePaula often allows readers to gravitate toward his books, knowing the caliber of story they are sure to find. Eager readers of Elephant and Piggie can spot a Mo Willems classic from across the room. The familiarity and engagement through illustrations cannot be denied. Illustrators bring to life the worlds created in the pages and paragraphs. So what value is there, then, in the books with only text and no pictures? Why might a book without illustrations be at home, and welcomed even, in an elementary school classroom library, or as part of a read-aloud repertoire? Will the students even be able to comprehend the story as well without the pictures to aid the process? Enter a 1937 study which was recounted by William A. Miller in the May 1938 edition of the Elementary School Journal. 600 children were studied in their reading comprehension of a text with and without pictures. The children were given a pretest and then divided so that both groups of 300 students had an equal representation of reading abilities. The study came to the conclusion that the absence of pictures did not cause the children to read the material with less comprehension. That study, and this podcast, are not decrying the benefits of illustration on such matters as interest, enjoyment, or appreciation in the artistic sense. The benefits of quality illustrations, the rich imagery, the emotions shown, the depth they can bring to a story, these are all well known and sought out when selecting children's picture books. So that brings us back to the question, why might a book without illustrations be at home and welcome even in an elementary school classroom library? I spoke with Dr. Jillian McGovern, mother of two, an avid reader. She shared about the benefits of books without pictures for developing the imaginations within children. Much like great food and exercise nourishes the body and makes it stronger, books without pictures nourish the imagination and allow those imagination muscles to be exercised. Dr. Jillian calls to mind the scene in Beauty and the Beast where Gaston is ridiculing Belle for reading a book with no pictures. Let's not be Gaston.
Hello, Belle.
Bonjour, Gaston. Gaston, may I have my book, please?
How can you read this? There's no pictures.
Well, some people use their imagination.
In stories such as Mrs. Pigglewiggle, the Narnia Chronicles, and others, the children are free to take the descriptions of the places and create their own houses, buildings, and lands with their imagination. They see characters in their own mind with a style that is unique to each child. A fun activity might be to allow the students time to draw what they were seeing. Oftentimes, when books are developed into movies, the characters are divergent from what the reader had imagined. When the film is viewed first and the image is already implanted, it is hard to move away from the mass-produced image of the characters and grasp what the individual's imagination may have created. In an effort not to stifle but embrace and tap the creative potential within each child, reading stories without illustrations can and should be encouraged at all ages. Another benefit that Dr. McGovern mentioned is that these books, with only descriptions of the characters rather than pictures, allow the reader to fill in any gaps. A character may be described as having shiny, curly hair. In the child's mind, this could be long, short, black, blonde, coarse, fine, etc. However, if the illustration shows a girl with red hair and freckles, there is no longer an opportunity for the child to adjust that character to his or her own demographic and ethnicity. Books without pictures can allow the children to engage with stories in a way that is reflective of their own experience. They have a greater chance to see themselves in the stories. And as we learn from Goldie Muhammad in Cultivating Genius, Seeing oneself in the learning is essential. A final benefit is that it allows the students to more fully put themselves within the story. As they are imagining the characters and seeing the events unfold in their mind, they place themselves in a character's shoes. This act, while growing their imagination, also serves to strengthen their empathy for others. Rather than being a passive participant in the story, the weaving through of one's own imagination allows each child to become part of the story and engage with the characters in a more meaningful and empathetic way. In the end, while filling our classroom libraries with stories containing beautiful and moving illustrations, it is a good reminder to not pass up or toss aside those books and stories without pictures. The benefits of stronger imaginations, opportunities for students to see themselves reflected in demographics and ethnicities of characters, and the increased empathy can all be found within the text-heavy pages. In the hope to grow readers who love to read, allow their imaginations to be the paintbrush. And above all, don't be like Gaston, be like Belle. A huge thank you today to Dr. Jillian McGovern, to Towson University for the access to the Elementary School Journal of 1938, and to our sponsors, CFO to Hire, high-value financial resources for business owners and managers in the Rhode Island and southeastern Massachusetts area at cfo2higher.com, and Mom Pembum, a Vermont boutique specializing in small batch leather bags, jewelry, and home goods, with a portion of profits supporting an end to human trafficking at maandpembum.com. This has been a Read Around the World podcast with Hillary Ogg. Join us next time as we travel and see the world events through the lens of literature. Until then, think adventure.